All right, let's get into it. We're in video 6 of the responsibilities of a professional racket stringer. So today we're going to touch on knowledge of the industry, sports, etc. And as you can see, this is number 6 in a series of 14. We've already gone over the first 5. I think I missed number 5. I think I never posted it, so I'm probably going to have to post, I think it was 5 or 4 that I missed. But anyway, so today we're going to hit knowledge of the industry, sports, etc. Of course, it's important, like if this is an industry you want to be in, an industry that you work in, to continue to expand what you know. It's going to help you to be better at working with your clients and helping them, depending on where they're at. And so just knowing what's going on and is just going to be a big benefit for you, of course. So the first thing we like to look at, what are some new string technologies? We know there's lots of polyester strings out there constantly coming out. Every brand is coming out with their own. New brands are coming out. Hybrid stringing, what kind of new hybrid type technologies are there? What kind of brand package string can you buy that's hybrid? You look at brands like Solinco, and you look at like a poly mix, and they've got two types of string, but they're both polyester based. One is more for control, one is more for spin. And just kind of understanding how the strings work together in a hybrid kind of setup is going to be a big benefit for you, because a lot of things that I used to love to do would be to just try to find that perfect hybrid setup for somebody, depending on what their game and what kind of racket and all that. So string coatings and durability enhancements, right? So there's new string coatings out there. Natural gut, I've seen a lot of new natural guts come out with different types of coating for, for playability, for durability. How do we expand, or how do we extend the life of a string once it's in the racket? Um, you know, Sometimes the way that you string the racket, sometimes with the hybrid type technologies, not burning the string as you're stringing it, using even string savers still. Some players still would prefer that. Knowing what two strings go well together so that they don't cause too much friction and premature wear. So understanding these coatings and how they interact with different rackets and playing conditions can also help you provide more informed recommendations. And then next we move over to like racket design innovations. What's new in the materials? Graphene, carbon fiber composites, um, and 3D printing rackets even. There's new technology out there, different types of vibration dampening systems. Every company, like when you're getting certified, like let's say through the USRSA as an example, when you update your test, basically you look at all of the technologies and you just kind of need to know, like, okay, Wilson has these type of technologies in their grip system, in their frame, in their handle system. Babolat has this, Yonex has this. So understanding which technologies, and that's just going to help you be able to provide better direction for your clients as to what type of a racket maybe would be best for them. So this is just kind of another part of just knowing the industry and knowing the products in the industry and all the new innovations and keeping up with that. And you can find that information pretty easily by just going to the racket manufacturer's website. There's tons of information on that. And so then next we move to understanding playing styles. Baseline players might want a little bit different type of setup than a serve and volley player. Or if you're an all-court player, they maybe need something that's a little bit more versatile as far as, a balance of power, spin, and control. But, a serve and volleyer is going to probably favor lighter rackets, maybe tighter string patterns for more precision at the net. All those type of things, and just kind of understanding that's going to just help you out with working with your clients. And then also being aware of player preferences. Like it's good to know what the professionals are using, and then you can kind of use that information when you're talking to your players, especially depending on what's happening in the industry, and like, depending on if there's a Grand Slam going on and people are talking more about the players and what their gear is, and just knowing that, and like what's going to be based on the level of player that you're working with, what really is going to benefit them and what might just not, because we all kind of want to play with what we see out there, but understanding like what's really appropriate for different playing styles and abilities. Customizing for high level players, understanding where the best lead tape placement is going to be for their type of game, what type of tensions. You look at professional players, and they might have a really certain tension, and that's not necessarily going to work for the average recreational player. And just kind of understanding that. Understanding a little bit more about personalizing grips, maybe changing the shape of it or building it up, or even decreasing the size, and what's really appropriate, and helping to also adapt to different playing conditions. Are you playing on hard surfaces, on clay, on grass, fast courts, slower courts? That's also going to maybe determine the tension that you string at, the type of string, all of those elements, weather conditions. Another part of understanding knowledge of the industry and the sport is the market dynamics and consumer behavior. Understanding what the key brands are out there and what products should you be educating your customer about. Brands like Wilson, Babolat, Yonex, and Head pretty much dominate a lot of the market. I mean, there's a few other brands as well. I'm just using those as an example, but they have products for beginners as well as professionals, and so understanding where your client fits in and understanding what's available for you to be able to help meet that need. You need to understand what each brand has to offer, what technologies are out there, and that's going to help you align with the demand of those products as well, and just fitting the right person with the right technology. The next thing, as far as the knowledge of the industry and the sport, is product life cycles, right? Understanding like, okay, well, these rackets are only going to be around for, let's say, 2 to 3 years, and then there's going to be a new model. So if you're at the end of a life cycle with a racket, and if you know that, you also want to make sure that you kind of can think about like, okay, well, if we're at the end of a life cycle, hey, just wait a couple of months. This new racket is coming out. It's probably going to work better for you for the long term, especially if they're looking at, getting a couple frames, and they want the latest technology. It just kind of depends, but just understanding like what's coming out, and what's going to be discontinued and all that. All right. The next thing, market segmentation, right? So recreational players, what is it generally what does that segment of tennis players want? More comfort, durability, and affordability, right? So you're not going to maybe always put them in the most expensive string, and you might not always put them in a polyester based string, but it just kind of depends on a number of things, of course, but I guess I was just using that as an example. But you should really know the benefits of how often do they play, what kind of racket do they have, where's the racket going to be stored, and physically, what kind of condition is the player in. The next market segment, club level players, right? They're usually going to have a little bit higher level performance, and they're going to be willing to invest more in that equipment. Stringers should be able to suggest strings and tensions to enhance their game, such as better setup for spin or control based on those playing styles that we mentioned earlier as well. And then, of course, you've got the professional athletes. You've got your professional players, or maybe college players. They're going to be more for fine tuning and more precision with the stringing and the maintenance. And so, understanding that and understanding the importance of consistency is going to be key here. And as far as preferences and trends, spin-friendly rackets and strings, which are more spin friendly. Some of the strings that have a lot more texture to them, and hexagon strings or square strings, or ones that just have different spin components in them, and then also the gauge that you use and the string pattern in the racket. All those are going to contribute to kind of that ultimate spin friendly racket. Next, we talk about eco-friendly materials. Many of the companies are coming out with eco-friendly packaging now that's biodegradable, and there's some strings that are also biodegradable. And how important is that for you, or how important is that just in general? And does it change the playability of the string? Is it up to standard yet? And I know that's something kind of new, and you think about that just in general too, just in your business practices. How eco-friendly do you want to be, and how is that going to matter in your market? Play some more playing profiles, understanding the baseline players. I think I talked about that already, or I talked about some of the other ones earlier, but yeah, with this one, long rallies, consistent ground strokes. They're going to want strings that are more durable and have more control, and recommend setups maybe that provide a balance of power and control with a focus of maintaining tension over time, because you tend to hit the ball a lot more, and so having those strings last a little bit longer. And serve and volley players, as far as that's concerned, they might. We talked a little bit about this earlier, but you're going to have a lighter racket, maybe tighter string patterns for more accuracy, a little bit more crisp response on those volleys, and so you might be restringing more to keep that crisp feel going. And understanding all court players, that's going to be a mixture of power, spin, control. And so you're going to want to allow these players to adapt to different playing situations. And so, how can you create a good string setup for that? Many times natural gut is a good one for that, or a combination, or hybrid combination. In clay courts, well, of course, clay is definitely a lot harsher on the string. So, looking at humid conditions and, maintaining the tension. So what are you going to use there? Grasscourt, of course, that's different as well. Lower trajectory, balls might be a little flatter, and so forth. So, and just kind of understanding that. All right, we're kind of rounding this up and kind of getting to the end of this video. So I just want to sum it up kind of with a little bit conversation about professional networks and developing and development. I think I was supposed to say development. So we've got like different governing bodies of the professional organizations, right? So you have the International Tennis Federation, you have the United States Racket Association, you have the Association of Tennis Professionals, you have Women's Tennis Association, then you have the United States Racket Stringers Association. So those are kind of some of the general governing boards where you can find information. So what are some industry trade associations? Well, you have the Tennis Industry Association, which is the TIA. You have the European Racket Stringers Association, which is the ERSA. And actually that US RSA above also fits in that category. Tennis equipment manufacturers, some of the big names: Wilson, Babolat, Head, Yonex. Well, I have prints on there, but they're not a large player anymore. You might have Solinco and what's another one? Wilson, Babolat, Head, Yonex, Prince. Well, Dunlop is still up there as well, but What type of certification and training organizations? Well, there's of course there's some good resources out on YouTube, and I hope you enjoy this channel as well. Include that in that. But you have Professional Tennis Registry, the PTR, that of course certifies teaching pros. And then you have the International Tennis Performance Association and the Australian Racket Stringers Association. That one's there too. I guess that kind of fits under the ERSA, and USRSA would also fit under that. Then you have some tennis media and publications. You have Tennis Industry Magazine, tennis.com, and then educational institutions and workshops. You got the USRSA String Symposium, the Grand Slam stringing teams. That's going to be the different teams at different tournaments. You have the Tennis Warehouse University. They have a myriad of great information on there. And they go pretty deep in a lot of their topics as well. That's a good place to learn. Local and regional associations, like whatever, your local USTA chapter, regional stringing associations, and then of course online communities, Talk Tennis, Racket Tech, which is part of the USRSA, and then there are other ones as well. But this kind of gives you a good place to start. So some final thoughts. Mastering the knowledge of the tennis industry is essential for any professional racket stringer who aspires to provide exceptional service and staying ahead in this competitive field. So understanding the latest trends in rackets and strings, keeping up with the industry standards, being aware and verifying varying and new needs of different players segments is crucial. And there's other information there as well. But ultimately, the idea here is just to get a good overview of the industry, of the manufacturers, what products they're offering, what strings, what rackets, what are the new technologies, what are some of the old technologies, and how do they compare, and what does that mean for different playing styles, different surfaces. Those are just some of the things I think that fall under this video. So again, this is just one part of this series, and I hope that it was informative and helpful in understanding the knowledge of the industry and the sport kind of in an overview. All right, if you have any questions or want me to expound on any of these on further videos, please leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next video.